Hello, my name is John. I come from London.
Excellent. As you just heard, guys, this is John Lydon, a.k.a. Johnny Rotten.
Yeah, Rotten is my nickname.
Rotten is your nickname.
It's one I've grown very attached to.
Okay, so now your name has evolved from your name, John Lydon, and now you see Rotten as the nickname.
Well, there were legal reasons why I resorted to using John Lydon. It was arguments and disputes with the management from the Sex Pistols. Mm-hmm. I had to go to court, but it was a court case I won.
Good.
And so once I got the name back, I decided, no, I'll stick with my real name. You see, I'm John, I do what I want, and I don't like rules and regulations. And unfortunately, a lot of the people who credit themselves as being rebels that were attached or working with me at that time turned out not to be. Mm-hmm. And it made for a lot of problems. And so for me, leaving the Sex Pistols was an act of great joy.
Yes.
And from there on in, I went into Public Image Limited, which I think is the world's finest band and probably the most influential of the two.
The Sex Pistols, though they have the bigger name, Pill went on for much longer, and I think in the annals of history will be looked at a little more favorably. I mean, Pistols had an album.
Yeah, but we also had a publicity machine wrapped around us, not of our making. I mean, really, the original creation of the paparazzi seemed to have sprung up around the Sex Pistols, where the press had a free hand to say whatever they liked about us. They'd never done that with a band ever before. Mm-hmm. And so there you go. I mean, blame me. I'm the daddy.
It was you were the grandfather or father of the media circus.
I allowed them to print whatever they wanted. I thought it would not contaminate us, that people would know better. I found out different.
Yeah.
And so when I formed Public Image Limited, the reason I picked the name was it was from a book by Muriel Spark, and it was about how stardom can get out of hand. Mm-hmm. And so I thought that'd be a very, very good name to begin a band with. And from there on in, I've kept Public Image deliberately away from sensationalism.
Good. And excellent. Good job
and
doing
the music has obviously achieved far greater heights because of that.
This is the only other question I'm going to ask about the Pistols days. Did you ever get to the point of forgiving Malcolm?
Yes, of course. A long time before he died.
Okay.
And even if I didn't, I still miss him very, very much because the death of any human being really disturbs me. I don't know if there is an afterlife or anything at all, but I miss the enjoyment of other people's energy, whether it be challenging to my viewpoint or not. I find it all positive in the end, and so he should be sorely missed. Yeah. Everybody in this planet is a complete individual. I don't think any two of us are ever going to be alike. Every single human being is a wonderful piece of creation.
You believe in the unique snowflake theory?
Yes,
then?
I do.
Okay.
Yes, I do, completely.
Cool. This is your first time in China, yes?
I've been to Hong Kong.
Okay.
That was 25 years ago.
So why China? Why now?
Because the opportunity came up.
Okay.
I mean, we didn't invent China, and we didn't invent the idea of coming here.
No.
We were asked, and obviously you have to go through, government officialdom. But for some peculiar reason, they analysed every lyric I ever wrote and approved.
I myself was
now here's the fun. I know they've turned down Oasis.
Yes, they have.
So good taste does abound.
And the Killers.
Oh, fantastic. Won't they be angry?
You're even more pleased now.
It's a real thrill to do this for me, to be here.
Cool. Your music is very influential.
I know, and all the people that imitate it won't admit it, but
the
list is quite endless.
I'm not a musician, so I could openly say that it is very influential. and as time goes on, it becomes more so. Like a lot of your earlier work with
Well,
Hill.
like a fine wine, I mature with age.
Wait a minute, did you just use the word mature in reference to yourself?
There's nothing wrong with maturity.
That's true.
I intend to live to at least 100. I view myself as only half a century young at the moment.
Excellent.
My glass is half full. After 100, everything is a real bonus. My only enemies in this life are all manner of politicians. All of them. And they let me through the airport. But guess what? They took my cigarette lighter.
Yes, they do that. And they're letting you speak to the youth.
They're letting me speak to the youth. And my nail clippers.
Of course.
Yes, in case I attacked someone.
Yes, snipped them. And you continue...
I'm sorry, Chinese person, but I must remove your nose hairs instantly.
And you continue to change, evolve, and do very different things.
Well,
like
you have to in life. Otherwise, you become static and boring and tired and worn out. Now, one of the major things of me wanting to leave England at such an early age was the attitude of... And you would hear this a lot. Oh, why don't you act your age? One, I don't act. And two, what on earth do you mean by act my age? You mean become boring, become sedentary, to accept and be rolled over? No. The longer I live, the harder I become about this.
Yeah.
Because I do not think a single thing that I do in my life has hurt anybody.
Exactly.
Quite the opposite. And yet I'm public enemy number one in the West.
That's true. And I personally thought it was very unfair of everybody judging you for the butter commercial that you did, because I just rewatched it recently. It looked like a laugh.
Did you not see what I did?
You running from the cows still kills me in the butter commercial.
I turned what could have been a boring run for the money thing into miniature movie.
Exactly.
All right, and used that British sense of comedy and that Irish sense of irony that is inherent in me. And I turned it upside down on its head, and every single penny that came from that butter commercial bought me out of the outstanding record contracts that were crippling my career and reformed Public Image Limited.
Now, do you...
And if that is going to be used as a tool against me, well, I say, can I have some more tools like that for you to use against me? So please keep them coming.
So you're more than happy to be out of the constraints of the record industry, so to speak. And even though it is a little harder to pull off, you are absolutely in charge of all your product, everything that comes and has to do with you.
I always have been. The problem became when I wouldn't take the dictatorship of a record label or anybody or anything on this planet, because I believe in what I do. And so rather than concede and put out rubbish music, I was kind of put into a state of financial ruin now. And that took me nearly 2 decades to claw my way out. And finally, through doing nature programs and various other many things, that led into the butter commercial, because the British dairy industry watched my work over the years building in, and they thought, that man's really good.
He's got some talent.
He's a genuine human being. And that's what they wanted. They wanted a natural human being who doesn't tell lies to represent a doubtful food product.
I saw the butter in the commercial. It looked tasty.
I eat butter. Look at me. I know you do.
I am a big fan. I am a big fan of butter.
English dairy butter is the best.
Is there someone monitoring? You're getting paid to say that right now?
No, sir. I tell it like it really is.
Okay, cool.
And that got me banned from Air New Zealand.
You got banned from Air New Zealand?
Oh, yes. I'm damn sure it was to do with butter wars.
I read about this.
Now, listen. New Zealand butter was the biggest selling product in the butter market in Britain up until I did the Dairy Crest adverts for British butter. Suddenly, Dairy Crest sales zoomed by 87%, And New Zealand butter dropped by something at the equivalent. This got me banned from an airline.
Wow. How did they?
It's coincidental, but it's a bunch of happy coincidences, because I discovered that Air New Zealand wasn't the best airline that I thought it was, because I used to fly on it all the time.
Yeah.
I discovered that there are other airlines, Cathay Pacific, for instance, and I'm in no way, I'm not commercialising, I'm just telling you that the world we live in now, you have to accept that certain corporations are actually to your benefit, while others are not. You have to be able to be smart enough to know how to pick and choose wisely.
Okay. Now,
so information is my game.
Yes.
And I'm telling you what I know as a fact.
Okay.
Not this. I'm not advertising here.
Of course. Yeah. Now,
and when they ban me next week,
from whatever.
How do you translate that kind of humour? I know. I've had a few humorous incidences with the staff here, the Chinese cleaning ladies. They have a very good sense of humour.
Yes, they do. Yes, especially
they catch what I'm saying. We you know internally with the eyes.
Yeah, and especially with foreigners, they just kind of pick up right away.
Yeah.
Very
sweet and open.
Yes,
I'm really surprised by that, because because CNN can poison the well.
Oh yeah, I'm not even going to get started on Western media's ideas and such of a place they really know nothing about.
CNN stopped serious journalism some time ago. Now it's like...
When they started, I think.
When they started...
That was pretty much the cutoff. The cutoff for serious journalism was when they started.
Now CNN's web page is basically YouTube. All right? It's a series of, like, any video you send in. So it's really kind of poisonous and inaccurate. I want intelligent reporting. I don't want bias. I don't want prejudice. And I don't want showbiz gossip.
Yeah. That's useless. It's pointless stuff.
And here I am in China. I've been here like one night. Couldn't sleep, watched the TV. The only thing I liked was none of the Western type channels, but was genuine Chinese folk music. And the songs were listed as 18th century. Like the presentation, the beauty and harmony in the vocals. And it really reminded me of when I was very, very young, the Gaelic songs my mother would sing. The vocal, the patterns in the music, it really is hitting here in my heart. And then in the morning, on comes this superfluous, trivia slush romanticism pop.
Yes.
MTV China should be stopped. It is not good for your health.
Exactly. I concur wholeheartedly.
And what are you doing here? I mean, it's interesting. You're pushing music, aren't you?
I am.
The thing is, how are they understanding it? Because already I understand there's a duality in the Chinese psyche about rock music being corrupt and stupid and silly.
Here's the thing: there is a thirst for the West here. Basically, close to where we're at right now is a major foreigner center and shopping mall that features all brands from the West. Guess Jeans, Victoria's Secret, Nike,
says at Oxford
Mac.
Street in London.
All that stuff.
Hate it.
Can't stand it either. But there's a genuine...
I came here to escape that rubbish.
I know. There's a genuine thirst for things Western, and that...
An interest,
a thirst.
And I think possibly on an intellectual level, really.
It is.
But it is. It's an intrigue to find out how that works and what that relates to. And can it take you to the next step? Well, yes and no. Clothes can access you mentally into other areas and zones. But music and literature does it ever so much better.
It touches your soul.
Yes.
Not just the surface.
See, that I would have loved to have been a writer, proper book writer when I was young. But the written word was never good enough. But when I combined that with music, I found such an outlet.
Absolutely. Yeah.
The tones that you can't ever describe, that can make your heart break or sing.
Now,
and that's
okay.
public image too.
Yes.